Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, restates commitment of the Buhari administration towards the revival and sustenance of Nigeria's major cultural festivals for job creation. Nigeria's Professor Tijani Muhammad Bande ends his tenure as the President of the 74th United Nations General Assembly. These and more on Panorama today, reaching you live from Abuja. I'm Elizabeth Omori. We'll be right back. Thanks for joining us. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has restated the commitment of the Buhari administration towards the revival and sustenance of Nigeria's major cultural festivals for job creation, as well as enhanced national unity. The minister stated this while briefing journalists after presenting a portrait of Argungu Fishing and Cultural Festival to President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The recent Argungu Fishing and Cultural Festival in Kebbi State was held in March 2020. Last celebrated 11 years ago, the festival, 24th in its series, was a unique celebration of remarkable progress achieved in the restoration of peace and security in northwest Nigeria.
Today, by the grace of God, this festival is back, and I hope back for good. We must therefore continue to encourage, support, and promote such festivals. You have truly made me proud.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed and his water resources counterpart Suleiman Adamu are here to formally present a portrait of the festival to President Muhammadu Buhari.
There are about 30,000 fishermen that jump into the river.
They must have suffocated the fish.
As part of UNESCO's World Heritage List, the Argungu Fishing Festival is one of the only two cultural events recognized by the UN organ in Nigeria.
You know, this government, we've always been very insistent that the creative industry must be supported and must be promoted, because after agriculture, it is the largest employer of labor, and it employs largely women and youth. So the cultural aspect of the creative industry is what is being manifested yearly in the annual Argungu Festival, and we continue to support this industry and have Mr. President's support. He was quite excited about the portrait, because he was able to see what kind of jobs can be created through these cultural festivals.
Already, he said, his ministry has published a national calendar of festivals to be distributed to foreign embassies in Nigeria, as well as the nation's missions abroad. The minister promised that the federal government will continue to put a lot of emphasis on the promotion of the nation's creative industry, especially tourism and hospitality, film, music, as well as population and broadcasting.
The government has done a lot to support the media, especially the broadcast industry, during this pandemic. You notice the first thing we did was to give a waiver of 2 months payment of license fees to all broadcasting houses between May and July. After which, we gave an amnesty, a 60% discount or debt forgiveness for all broadcast houses except the pay TVs, and also slashed by 30% the licensing fees because of the COVID-19. And I also met with the newspapers, Proprietors Association of Nigeria. We met virtually, and I'm still waiting for them to come and make their submission.
He said the federal government is willing to look into the hardships and the challenges being faced by the media industry with a view to intervening appropriately. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In less than 12 hours from now, Nigeria's Professor Tijani Mohammed Bande will end his tenure as the President of the 74th United Nations General Assembly. Already, Volkan Bozkır from Turkey has emerged President-elect of the 75th UN General Assembly and will be taking over the presidency from tomorrow. A reception to mark the successful end of the 74th session held last week, Thursday, at the Grand Lobby of the UN headquarters in New York. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
The outgoing UN President, Professor Tijani Mohammed, thanked member nations for their support, especially against the pandemic that has decimated the economies and exacerbated poverty and inequality. He notes that the crisis has again shown how interconnected and interdependent the world is, which underscores the need to work together. A career diplomat and politician of nearly 50 years, Volkan Bozkır says he will serve the best interest of the United Nations and its members. He acknowledged the success of the incumbent Tijani Mohammed Bande for his capable stewardship during the extraordinary time of COVID-19.
PGA has built momentum towards the 25th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration. He has also paid particular attention to poverty eradication. I applaud this valuable work and intend to build upon these in the upcoming session.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres loves the General Assembly's skillful guidance, leading to adoption of important resolutions to enhance and ensure access to life-saving medicines and vaccines.
And what I believe is absolutely remarkable is that with all the restrictions that we had, the physical impediments that we had, the General Assembly of the United Nations was able to fully deliver in relation to its mandate.
The General Assembly would observe the 75th anniversary of the signing of the Charter on Friday through a virtual meeting that reflects on the UN's fundamental document. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
And for clarity, Volkan Bozkır has officially taken over from our very own Professor Tijani Mohammed Bande. And out to the judiciary, Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed, says if judges learn to live within their means, there will be very little room for temptation in carrying out their judicial functions. He said that this while swearing in 11 new judges for the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory. Femi Okewo tells us more.
In the last 3 years, the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory has lost about 15 judges to promotion to the Court of Appeal, retirement, and even death. For a court that has the second highest docket of cases in its plate next to Lagos, the swearing in of 11 judges by the Chief Justice of Nigeria comes as a big relief. Justice Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed called on the new judges to see their appointment as a call to national service and not an outlet for personal gains.
The position you now occupy is seen as the hallmark of integrity and moral rectitude. Your passion for those conducts that may easily fail integrity test must begin to diminish.
And the judges are well aware of the task ahead.
As I subscribe before man and God that we will do right to all manners of persons without fear or favor, and I will stand by it.
It's really good, very good, and I'm thankful to God Almighty. This is the day that the Lord has made, and indeed I'm rejoicing and I'm glad in it.
I've always wanted to be a judge. I don't like oppression. I want people to be treated properly.
The judges are to immediately commence a 2-month training and orientation, a program which the Chief Judge of the FCT High Court, Justice Ishaq Bello, says will let them into the reality of their new calling.
You must be conscious of your dress code. This is very important. It's part of the things that makes the judges here to stand out wherever they go.
And now with this set of judges sworn in, the clamor by Nigerians for a quicker dispensation of justice is gradually being met. There is, however, still a yearning gap for the vacancies that exist at the various levels of courts in Nigeria. In Abuja, Femi Okewo, NTA News.
A draft of the Data Protection Bill 2020 has been validated by key players in the digital identity sector ahead of its transmission to the National Assembly. The bill, a brainchild of the Legal and Regulatory Working Group of the Digital Identity Ecosystem Project, seeks to promote a code of practice that ensures the privacy and protection of personal data. Victor tells us more.
Nigeria is in the process of digital identification of its population for development purposes, with data capture of 42 million people already done. And then the issue of data security and privacy becomes necessary to earn the trust of citizens and consequently their maximum cooperation.
In order to adequately control the capture, storage, management and use of data and to protect us from abuses.
This explains why the Legal and Regulatory Working Group of the Digital Identity Ecosystem Project introduced the Data Protection Bill 2020. But it must address all concerns, hence the need for this gathering dominated by lawyers, ICT experts and auditors among others to subject it to stakeholder scrutiny.
Stakeholder consultation and involvement is critical to ensuring effective reforms and smoother implementation of any legislation.
Key players having made their input, the Legal Regulatory Working Group must now make the most of it.
The Legal Working Group will go back after this exercise to look at each and every comment that has been submitted.
The next stage will be to transmit it to the National Assembly for legislative approval. In Abuja, Victor Azo, NTA News.
It's one of the youngest international days proclaimed by the United Nations, but it remains one of the oldest institutions. Yes, the International Day of Democracy launched by the UN on the 15th of September 2007. As Nigeria joins other countries to mark this day, what are some of the impediments to the practice of democracy in a COVID-19 era? Mia Ogidi tells us.
Athens' best gift to the world. Loved by many in principle, distorted in practice by few. This is the paradox of contemporary democracy in many countries. Respect for human rights, holding of periodic elections, value for freedom and inclusivity in the areas of affordable health, education and justice are four critical points in the practice of democracy. But when the four cardinal points are in danger, the center trembles. So, 15th of September every year reviews the state of democracy across the world.
On this International Day of Democracy, let us seize the pivotal moment to build a more equal, inclusive and sustainable world with full respect for human rights.
Nigeria, a country daring to get it right with democracy, bearing in mind it is a process and not a project.
And what democracy essentially guarantees is freedom. And one thing I know that we have in Nigeria is freedom. You can actually say what you want to say. I call on all Nigerians to be vigilant and to be actively involved in preparing the cracks that we see in the democratic institutions and machinery.
For the United Nations, democracy needs all the protection, especially in a COVID-19 era, with all the legal arsenals in the state's disposal to protect the rights of the most vulnerable.
As the world confronts COVID-19, democracy is crucial in ensuring the free flow of information, participation in decision-making and accountability for the response to the pandemic. Yet, since the beginning of the crisis, we have seen the emergency used in a range of countries to restrict democratic processes and civic space. This is especially dangerous in places where democracy's roots are shallow and institutional checks and balances are weak. Today, it is clear that governments must do more to listen to people demanding change, open new channels for dialogue, and respect freedom of peaceful assembly.
In its true practice, the will of the people shall be the basis of the authority of government. Mia Ogidi, NTA News.
to COVID-19 update. New data coming in from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control shows 132 new cases of COVID-19, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 56,388 in the country. Of these 132 new confirmed cases, Lagos has 52, Gombe 27, Plateau 17, Kwara 10, Enugu and Ogun 9 cases each. Others include Katsina 3, Ekiti 2, while Bauchi, Osun and Rivers all recorded 1 case each. On the total cases per state chart, Lagos leads with 18,663 cases, FCT 5,447 cases, Oyo is third with 3,221, while Plateau State follows with 3,115 cases. There are now 10,968 active cases, while 44,337 patients have been discharged, with 1,083 deaths recorded. Now, the Fiscal Responsibility Commission agrees that there is need for government to look at key reforms that aim at internally generated revenue for the country post-COVID-19. To this end, the Commission is bringing together stakeholders in resource generation and management for the next 7 days to brainstorm on ways to ensuring that the lean resources and the economic challenges brought by the COVID-19 are well managed. Moplan Dakok reports.
This is obviously not the best of times for Nigeria's economy, as the COVID-19 forced down oil production and reduced price of oil, leaving the country with significant medium-term fiscal challenges, especially with respect to revenues.
The Fiscal Responsibility Act requires the remittance of operating surplus to the CRF. We have already released reports showing that a lot of agencies, this government enterprise, are in default. So we expect better revenue monitoring exercises.
The resources are not there as they used to be. So it now behoves on us to ensure that the little that you have should be applied properly. Otherwise, we are not going to go anywhere.
This is why participants at this retreat are strategizing on ways of achieving fiscal sustainability and macro fiscal objectives of government, especially in the implementation of key reforms that will improve revenue collection and expenditure management.
If you want something good, you go all out for it. In turn, you save costs. So I think we need to be equipped so that we know what to do to revive the economy once again.
I believe at the end of the training, I will be better off. I believe the training will provide the opportunity for me to deepen my understanding.
Recommendations at the end of the retreat are to complement efforts of government in stimulating the economy post-COVID-19. In Abuja, Moplan Dakok, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Science and Technology has inaugurated a committee to authenticate claims of herbal COVID-19 remedy by researchers, scientists and traditional medicine practitioners in line with their determination to finding a homegrown solution for COVID-19 in the country. Justin Bemui has details.
Nigeria had, before the index case of COVID-19, began its quest for a homegrown remedy for the global pandemic, a move which is in line with the government's desire to diversify the economy. This is also the desire of over 170 other countries for enhanced access to COVID-19 vaccines. As COVID-19 remains a significant threat to the health and well-being of Nigerians and national economy, having had no cure yet, the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology says it is committed to work with relevant stakeholders to urgently develop a homegrown remedy vaccine. This led to the inauguration of a ministerial committee on COVID-19 herbal remedies and natural compounds to review and give further guidance on several claims and submissions on COVID-19 cure.
We promised a 36 million naira financial reward to any Nigerian researcher, scientist, or traditional medicine practitioner that develops an effective vaccine or cure for the disease. We therefore charge this committee to vigorously scrutinize and evaluate all claims brought before it.
The minister is optimistic that the discovery of a cure for COVID-19 in Nigeria would enhance the standing of the country in the Committee of Nations. Accord Nigerian scientists deserved recognition as well as generate foreign exchange earnings for the nation. In Abuja, Justin Bemuni, NTA News.
You're still watching Panorama on the network service of the NTA. Let's take a breather now. We'll be right back.
A new edition of TV Guide is out, featuring great personalities from all walks of life. Expository interview with a young TV presenter who shows passion on what she does, Morayo Afolabi Brown of TVC. Pick a copy of this compendium of mind-blowing stories and get abreast with issues as regards media convergence, leadership, health, star profiles, star programs, fashion, sports, human angle stories, and lots more. Meet some media professionals within our space who have paid their dues in no small ways. TV Guide, very incisive, very educative, and compelling. Grab a copy at the vendor near you or NTA stations nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
In these uncertain times, one thing's certain. We're in this together. So Clean Protect, the antibacterial detergent that removes 99.9% germs while it cleans. Because germ-free clean is the real clean that we all need. Do your best to protect your family. So Clean Protect.
NTA News 24, a 24-hour news station, brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m., news update at 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shores.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
Star Times channel 101 and Free TV channel 703. Join us.
Thanks for staying with us. Some personnel of the Federal Road Safety Corps traveling from Sokoto and Kebbi State's command of the Corps for a training program at FRAC Academy, Udi, have been reportedly attacked by kidnappers at Udege Junction along Maraban Udege between Adoka, Nasarawa State on Monday 14th of September 2020. The officers, totaling 26 in number, were traveling in two buses. According to the FRAC Corps Public Education Officer, Assistant Corps Marshal Bisi Kazim, one of the officers in the vehicle conveying the staff of the Corps reportedly died during the attack, while another officer died in the hospital and 4 others were injured. It escaped unhurt, 10 unaccounted for, as they were allegedly kidnapped by the assailants. The Corps Public Education Officer noted that the Corps Marshal Dr. Boboye Oyemi has immediately reported the incident to relevant authorities for prompt rescue of the kidnapped staff, while investigations to ensure that the assailants are brought to book is ongoing. Kazim noted that the Corps Marshal has called on all staff of the Corps not to be deterred by the unfortunate incident. He assured that the Corps will work closely with relevant security agencies to ensure that the criminal elements are brought to book and justice is served while the missing personnel are found. And talking sports now with Olumide Eguntola.
Contrary to reports that the federal government has lifted ban on team sport, especially football, the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dari, via his Twitter handle, calls for caution, saying that conversations are still ongoing, assuring that soon the country will witness the return of contact sports. Meanwhile, the Nigerian volleyball clubs have commenced preparation for this year's tournament in anticipation of the federal government's final lift of ban on teams sport by observing COVID-19 protocols, wearing of face masks, washing of hands by the players and officials, keeping social distancing, among others.
We have been the first federation to produce even the mask. We will not allow spectators to come into the court or to play into the field without observing the protocol. And we will abide by the protocol that will be set by the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport.
From Abeokuta, Lekan Agbode reports that the Sports Writers Association of Nigeria, SWAN, Ogun State chapter, has reached an agreement with the leadership of the State House of Assembly to host the maiden edition of Speaker's Cup among the 20 local government areas of the state. The agreement was reached when the executive members of the Sports Writers Association visited the Speaker, Ogun State House of Assembly, Olakunle Oluomo.
The final we propose will be part of the annual assembly days for us to detect talent in the state that will eventually do us proud.
From the foreign scene, Dominic Thiem has become the first player in 71 years to win the US Open, having lost the first 2 sets and came back to win the final. The number 2 seed won his first major title, 2-6, 4-6, 6-4, 6-3 and 7-6 Sunday night at Flushing Meadows after a thrilling contest decided by tie-break at the expense of Alexander Zverev. With sports update, Olumide Guntola, NTA News.
And that's sports update today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to connect with the NTA and kick against rape and rapists. Good afternoon.